Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I want to talk to you about mortgage foreclosures in Georgia. And obviously my role, for the most part, is to stop foreclosures, but you need to know a little bit about them so that you understand what I do and how it works and why it does work. Georgia is, like a lot of states, we are what they call a non-judicial foreclosure state. What that means is that a lender who's foreclosing against you does not have to go to court. In Florida, for example, lenders do have to go to court. Florida is a judicial foreclosure state. So before a foreclosure can happen in Florida, the lender has to file a lawsuit. It has to be litigated. It can take a year or longer before they can actually foreclose. Georgia is a little bit different. In Georgia, when you sign your mortgage paperwork, you're giving power to the lender. You're doing an assignment of power to the lender, which basically says that if you fall behind, if you go into delinquency mode, then they simply give you a notice. Then they have the right to advertise your property for sale in the legal newspaper in the county where your property is located. And if you don't respond to that, if you don't cure that delinquency, within 30 days, they can actually foreclose the first Tuesday of the month. It's going to be in the courthouse steps. They have to advertise 4 weeks in a row in the legal organ of the county where the property is located. So in Georgia, literally, a foreclosure can happen as quickly as 37 days, I think is the shortest it can happen. It usually takes a little bit longer than that, but normally when the foreclosure process starts, if you get a notice of foreclosure, it's going to be scheduled for the first Tuesday of the following month. So if you get a foreclosure notice at the end of October, then the foreclosure is probably going to start sometime in December. So it can be pretty quick, and you need to move fairly quickly. Now, my experience has been that lenders are not going to voluntarily stop a foreclosure once that process is started. Unless you can show there's been some sort of fraud or some sort of unusual situation, the only way to really stop it is bankruptcy. And that's why a lot of these foreclosure help places that you hear advertising, I really wouldn't put a lot of trust in those. I also would tell you that lenders will try to talk to you. They'll say, call our foreclosure mitigation department, and they'll talk to you. We can try to work out a deal, blah, blah, blah. 9 times out of 10, 2 or 3 days before foreclosure Tuesday, you're going to get a phone call. We couldn't work anything out for you. Sorry. So what I would tell you is that if you have a pending foreclosure, if you know that the first Tuesday the following month your house is going to be foreclosed upon, I would set a drop-dead deadline of at least 8 to 10 days before that, that if you have not been able to work out something, if you've not been able to work out a payment plan or some sort of a deal with the lender, then at that point you need to look very seriously at filing a Chapter 13, because that's really the only way to guarantee you can stop the foreclosure. Again, my advice would be if you get a foreclosure notice, at that point talk to a lawyer. Go ahead and start the process. Even if you're not ready to file yet, know what you need to do, know what you need to have, know about the counseling requirement, get all the paperwork, everything ready to go, so that if you have to go into bankruptcy, you can do so, because 37 days is not a lot of time. And if you're facing a foreclosure and it's next Tuesday and today is Friday, it's going to be very hard to find a lawyer to deal with that. There are people who do it. I tend to be very reluctant to get involved in a case when the foreclosure is going to be the next day or 2 days later, because it's hard to get everything together, all the requirements, all the paperwork, and so forth. And I'm really reluctant to file a 2-page emergency petition because it's so difficult to get everything else done. So if you have a foreclosure notice, spring into action, talk to a lawyer, but understand that the process in Georgia is non-judicial and it happens really, really quickly. Hope this has been helpful. Any information else that you need about foreclosure, stopping foreclosure in Georgia, please let me know. I hope to hear from you, and I hope you don't need me, but if you do, we're here for you. Thanks a lot, and we'll hopefully hear from you soon. Bye-bye.